We did this $500,000 build out, which is like, it was a hard pill to swallow, but it's just thriving. And I feel like we're a discount for the services. And now she's like forever in love and so happy. And she's like, this is how you retain a patient.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Cameron Hemphill here, your host for Medical Millionaire. Hey guys, thank you so much for taking the time to tune into the podcast. Our goal is to give incredible value and insight for practice owners. I have been working with medical aesthetics practice owners, guys, for over 10 years, and I am absolutely honored to have a repeat guest on the show today. I have Anisa with Beauty Boost. She's out of Newport. This lady has done incredible things in the industry, and we're going to talk about some of the new exciting things that she has coming and has developed and continues to enhance. So, Anisa, thanks so much. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me back. I felt like last time we connected, we had so much more to talk about. So really excited to just carry on that combo.
Absolutely. So what's new? What's going on in Newport? You're across the country. I'm in Florida.
I know, right? So in Newport, my business, last time we talked, we relocated and expanded into a larger practice, which has been such a breath of fresh air. We did this, $500,000 build out, which is like, it was a hard pill to swallow, but it's just thriving. And I feel like patients are walking in, getting this entirely new experience that's just elevated, luxurious, and all the staff feel really inspired because of our space. So that investment has definitely been a return, and it's just growing, which is exciting. But I have also just kind of wanted to build something more out of Beauty Boost. So I launched my private training program this year called Beauty Boost Aesthetic Academy, where it's hands-on. People come in. It has to be California, based because of the licensure. But also my online training platform called Patreon is like growing exponentially, which is so exciting because I'm able to teach people that are, beginner, mid-level, advanced, and even practice owners how to run a business and just get better in their skill set if they're not able to come to the hands-on portion.
Oh my gosh. You have been busy, my dear.
Yes, definitely. And trying to get pregnant at the same time. So it's like, you got to be like, oh, just rest, relax, it'll happen. But, all that is in the mix.
You don't have kids yet, do you?
No, we've been on a journey of IVF. So that has been its own course of 2.5 years. So, we're really praying that it happens this year. But if not, we understand it's in God's timing.
Amazing. Well, I know you and your husband well, and obviously wish you guys the best. I got two little ones myself. I just got back from a cheer competition.
Oh, yeah. I was cheerleader. I get that. That's fun. Lots of energy.
Oh my gosh, cheer dad over here. Yeah. So we were in New Orleans. It was a lot of fun. I just got back this morning. So, well, that's cool. That's exciting. So the build out, I remember you talking about it. Mm-hmm. Did you physically move to a new location or did you expand?
We relocated and expanded. So for example, where our other previous location, I shared the story last time, but I rented out a room and it grew into me needing another room and then another room. And then I eventually just took over what should have been a shared suite with other providers. And that 1,500 square foot office was just simply not enough. So now I'm in 3,300 square feet with, 6 exam rooms, which is so exciting. I converted 2 of them into, an area for our staff to chart in, and of course my own office because I need a little bit of privacy. Yeah. So it's nice because patients get like this privacy of checking in and then another private area of checking out, and it just has a better flow to the office.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, how many rooms did you have before?
I only had 2, and I had 3 providers, so we were forced to have alternating shifts to accommodate, all of our schedules in the rooms. Yeah. So now I have, 2 providers with me still, and they're able to both work full time and not just be forced to be part time or rotate Saturdays, for example. Gotcha.
Okay. The reason I was asking is because you've done it in a very smart way, right? A very business patient-centric way of saying, hey, I have a couple rooms. You have obviously sold out your utilization capacity.
Totally.
So it's like,
200%.
okay, we're going 200% utilization.
Yes.
What, my goodness. So yeah, I mean, it creates its own new path and problems and challenges, which is like, hey, we've expanded our current real estate footprint. Let's expand on it. And I think what times, Anisa, is a lot of practice owners will actually go in and have more space than they need in like the early stages.
Yeah.
And for the listener, I would encourage you guys to really like look at your utilization rate, look at your real estate footprint, and having 1 room or 2 rooms or 3 or 10, whatever works for your utilization rate and your business and your health is what's best, and obviously giving the patient the best experience.
Definitely.
And so,
and I honestly didn't look at those numbers until clearly this year. I'm so embarrassed to say this, but when I was forced into this bigger overhead, bigger facility, I'm like, oh, I should really know what we're all making per hour, right? And what the average appointment cost is, and my retention rate. Hello, 7 years in, you think I would have looked at that much sooner, but I was just in survival mode. And now that I'm in a mode where I'm like, I really want to be sustainable. It's not just have to be hyper growth, and burn yourself out. I want to make sure I'm doing it responsibly, and I want to do it so all of us providers and my staff have this work-life balance. So if you don't know your numbers yet, don't be discouraged. There's always time to learn it, but better late than never. That's the biggest thing. And like what Cameron said, right? Starting out small is so important. I think, we have these big dreams of what our businesses will look like, and it's so inspiring and it's so fun to look at other businesses and how they did it. But your journey is your own, and don't take on more than you can swallow, right? So I started out with just Botox and fillers, and I know that's just like the standard bread and butter of injectables, but it really allowed me to order, my 5 boxes of filler, my 2 vials of Botox. And then once I got through that, made my little money, I was able to purchase the next one and get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then bring in more and more services. So it's doable when you start a little bit smaller.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. Everybody's on their own journey. I think social media can give us this like false promise in a way, or like make you feel discouraged because somebody is maybe further along in their business journey, their career, and it's not the case, right? Everybody's on their own journey. And I think for the listener, for you guys out there, sure, get ideas, connect with people in the industry. I think like getting expertise can help accelerate your path, right? But understand you're on your own journey. So I think you made a great point there. On the numbers thing, was it because I'm assuming your retention rate is off the charts? You probably noticed, and your demand, right? The demand is there. It's like, wow, I never really kind of had to look at the numbers because I'm just trying to keep up and help as many patients as I can. Definitely.
I'm still not a numbers person. I have to admit on that. I can't even add Botox units, which is so embarrassing. But, I have a father from India, and he is a mathematician, and he's able to make sure that our business is pretty streamlined down to like the pennies, which I'm very thankful for, because if it were up to me, I'd be like, my first paycheck, I'd be like, wow, I'm rich, and just totally not safe for these days where business might not be, always thriving. You have to make sure you put these little buckets aside for, risk, right? Relocation, for, for days for maternity leave one day. So I'm really thankful I have that. But if you don't, there's amazing financial advisors. There's amazing people that can help guide you. Just start earlier, because it's more work to undo later. But I'm learning still, and I'm, like I said, 7 years in, so.
Yep. I love the transparency of this. It's so nice to hear, because I think so you can get caught up in saying, you know your numbers or you don't. And I think at the end of the day, for every business owner, you're not just going to figure out your numbers and then your numbers. It's always changing,
right?
It is. It's always changing.
And you should be evolving too. And if it's, you're comparing yourself from last year, and of course, everyone should always have a 10% increase goal year over year. I think that's a healthy growth, but I think it's important to develop yourself even further with new services, new skill sets. Does that mean taking on, another location? Does that mean bringing on another provider? Just constantly thinking, how can I make your business sustainable with not always you at the forefront, right? So that's what I'm learning and still struggling with too.
When I got into the specialty and industry, I can't believe it's been a decade, which is mind blowing.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know where all the time went, but I feel like the last 5 years just kind of flew by.
Yeah, I know.
And yeah, it's, it was really hard to get your numbers. Like you had to do a lot of work. And now I think like technology is doing a great job of evolving as the industry is growing. So it brings it to a question I think you guys use, like I want to talk about your tech stack for a second. And I won't get too dorky with you, but like I saw on your website, you guys, looks like you use Boulevard, and investing in that type of like technology and EMR and EHRs and CRMs and all that stuff, has that been helpful in order for you to just like log in and get a report?
Oh my God, 1000%. I mean, I had my Aesthetic Pro, which is like dinosaur era for the first 2 years of my practice. And even though I thought it was like, had everything at that time, it was still pretty outdated. So then I advanced into something I thought would be more like user-friendly, right? Mm-hmm. For the patient to book online, and that was Vigaro. And I knew it was made more for people that went to hair salons and nail salons. It's just so much easier to book from the patient side with the app, or not even on the app. But from the provider side, reports weren't very savvy for medical spa space, building out forms. So then I'm like, let me just go back to the aesthetics only EMR. And at the time I thought aesthetic record was very popular. And I did that for a good year until I realized it's also very, very limiting in its own ways. And I know every EMR has its pros and cons, but I have been so happy with Boulevard. And this is someone who's had, think about it, 4 different EMRs in the past, 7 years. It really has it all. It's I say it's the Apple for both, the provider and the patient. It's user friendly. So I love it.
They've done a great job. They truly have. I agree with you there. They've done a phenomenal job. And, I've used Vigaro from the patient side.
Right.
And I thought it was pretty user-friendly, and I think it's got some bells and whistles, like some marketing stuff inside there. But I think like when you focus on something that is built for the industry, and as you've advanced your career as a business owner, like, hey, you know what? Like I bet like the questions a few years ago when you're using Vigaro was probably more like, what's the patient experience, which, hey, super important.
So important.
But you probably are like, well, what about your reporting?
Yeah, exactly. And my dad's an Excel guy. He like has his own algorithms and formulas, which is great. But like for a person like me, who I just need to have my daily summary and understand like where did we get these sales from, and what is doing well, so I can help grow that area where my dad could not. That's where it makes sense to me, because it's so simplified, but it's still very detail oriented in Boulevard. I love that.
Yep, I agree. I love it. And I know that you guys are, always investing in tech and marketing and focused on the patient journey, the patient experience. What does it feel like? I've never been to your practice, unfortunately, and I wish I have been to your practice. In fact, I need to go. I need to come see you guys.
Yes, you have to.
Yes, I need to. Ever since I moved to Florida, I haven't been to California in like a couple of years. I'm like, I need to go back there. I love California.
This is your invite. Come on down.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Well, so what is it like from the patient experience? Like when I walk in, if I'm a patient, like, 'cause that's huge, right? Like being a provider and a medical aesthetics practice owner, look, there's probably one within a half mile of where you physically are right now. There's competition.
Oh, there's like 3 in our building. I mean, the last time there was 6. In Newport, like we're in the Lion's Den, it's everywhere. So you really have to stand out. And I think the way we stand out here in Newport Beach when we're, it's so incredibly saturated is number one, our branding. It's so funny because I came from an area of wanting to build a business that was really fun and girly and pink and not so intimidating, and you don't walk into something that's like so cold and sterile and doctor office-y, which is where I came from, was plastic surgery. So I just wanted to make it pink and fun, and that became the entire brand, right? And I really wanted to have a nice euphemism when you're attaching these Botox and fillers, so I called everything a boost. I'm like, you just need a little lip boost, when I'm just saying filler, because sometimes fillers has a negative connotation. So that branding was really something that resonated with a lot of our followers on social media. If you don't follow us, it's Beauty Boost Medspa on Instagram, on TikTok. We have a more incredible following in YouTube, and it carried through. And this is the place you go to just enhance your beauty and not augment it. And I do a lot of education online. So you're really empowering yourself to make the best decision when it comes to deciding what you need best, right? So that's number one, is people know who we are in the community before even walking through our doors. Number two, now that we have this beautiful, luxurious space, it's you walk in and you just feel like, please watch our office tour and you'll see what I mean, but it is stunning. People have compared it to like, a 5-star hotel, which is so cool. But the reason why I wanted it to have this like presence is because I just want people to feel like they belong there and they are going to get the best treatment. And it was very, Instagram worthy. They would take pictures and just really enjoy that experience when they come in. Just every corner of our med spa is beautiful. But, our online booking is pretty easy to book online. And, we're always answering texts throughout the day. Our email, we have turnaround time within minutes, not within hours. So the way that our patients come in is pretty easy. And then when they actually get seated, they have maybe, again, minutes of a wait time in the front office. In fact, we only have 2 waiting chairs in the front. We don't have a lot. We don't want it in an area where people are hanging out. It just looks like you wait there, but you don't. You get immediately roomed. And in the room, if, God forbid, us providers are running late, which happens, we have a Comfort Boost menu, which is, it's called, I'm trying to remember it, but it's called Sip, Sharpen, Cozy Up, and then there's one more on there. But basically, you have the option to provide what you want to sip on, whether it's sparkling water, coffee, tea. A lot of the med spas already offer this, right? And then the Sharpen is doing an Upneek trial. So we know that it takes anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes for Upneek to kick in. So we'll drop an eye drop in your eye. So it's like, it feels like you're doing something while you're waiting.
Yeah.
We have a really cozy blanket because our office runs pretty cold. We get heat right now during this time of the day, but then it gets really freezing the minute the sun turns. So we have that. And then there's one more on the menu that I'm blanking, but you can see that in itself, just the wait time is a very luxurious experience. We have express facials too. So we'll bring them over to the esthetician and they'll do a quick, cleanse, exfoliation, and then bring them back up to us. Now they're fully prepped for the procedure, which is wonderful. The treatment itself is always under an hour. We never want people more than, a couple hours. We don't want them to attach this experience of coming in for, something simple as Botox filler or even microneedling to be hours where they have to take a chunk out of their day. We are all hustling women in Orange County to afford these procedures. So I want to make sure it's very it's meant for the productive woman, and then when we leave, they always have a spot on our schedule to come back. And our retail area is just something that helps supplement their outcomes. So I try the best. I don't have everything figured out. I'm constantly asking people to leave feedback and do surveys. Surveys are key for you to improve your practice or, implement it. Not everyone's going to, provide it, but our survey is, provide your feedback here so we can boost your care. I'm trying with the brand. It's little jingles that make people giggle and be like, "Oh, how cute! Okay, I'll submit my feedback." So,
well, you talk about it modestly, but branding is so important. It's never going anywhere.
No.
No. It's like when I look at a brand, it's like it can't be taken from AI, right? AI is not going to replace a brand. It's actually an asset. It's a very, very important asset. I mean, look at Nike, right? Everybody knows who they are. They have a great brand and they have a mission, you know, and you've done a phenomenal job at that.
Thank you.
Whether it was just came naturally or by default or what, but when you look at patient demand and options for providers to go get these services and treatments done, there's options. And people like to associate with a brand and a provider that they trust. Right. And you also made another comment that you really, your ICP, your ideal customer profile. A female entrepreneur or business, person or whatever that's hustle and bustle. Hey, I want to get in and get my treatment and I got stuff to do. I'm busy. But when they're there, they get a level of service. It's a treatment, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's spa day in a way for a minute.
And it's funny, you are what you attract. So I always attract these, female entrepreneurs, people with really strong personalities, people that are my age and, trying to do family planning or are new to having a child or getting married. They're in this transition period with me, which is awesome. So I'm able to speak to those who are coming in because there's that instant, quick relatability, which is so, so cool. And there's that bond. So if you're trying to look for something to help make your brand, come through and be very, very authentic, just speak to the person that you would want to be attracted to, if that makes sense. Everything falls so organically after that. It might seem cheesy at first, but I promise you, people will remember you more if you just do it a little differently than everyone else.
Yeah, you're authentic, and what's kind of interesting is your patients are probably people you want to hang out with.
Oh my God, all the time.
How great is that?
I'm like, is this crossing the line of patient-provider relationship if we just get drinks after this? And I have done it a couple times, but I love my girls. I always feel like I'm hanging out with my girlfriends all day. It's so fun.
It's such a fun job. My gosh, amazing.
It is.
I love it. That's super cool. I mean, so guys, the branding is important. Knowing your ideal customer profile and leaning in on that in a way that comes off authentic, real, it's super, super important because as we continue to grow as in this industry, it's going to continue to grow, but there is going to be some people that are unfortunately not going to be able to grow with us, right? And it's maybe they didn't nail the brand, or maybe they didn't lean in on their ideal customer profile. Maybe they didn't, know their numbers very well. The purpose of a lot of these episodes, guys, and why we want to have experts like Anisa on here is she's literally giving you gold. She's telling you her success formula, which is pretty amazing.
And you know what, Cameron? I felt like in the beginning I was so lost and I was so lonely and I just didn't know a lot of good places for resources. And I said this before on your channel, but I was like a conference whore, and I still am. And I go to all of them and I try to learn as much as I can from the speakers. But at the end of the day, I really want to identify who is the most successful in the room and just just maybe copy them here and there. But I didn't have that. So that kind of gave birth to my online training platform, powered through Patreon. And I really just spell it out for business owners of this is how you create your memberships, right? And this is how you promote a new service. And this is, the evidence that goes behind this service. Because I really want to practice, it's really instill evidence-based practice. And a lot of providers, I have my DNP. So a lot of my education was based on research. So just helping the community grow in a way where we're looked at as truly medical providers is important. And then it goes as basic as beginners. Okay, here's a facial bones. Let's talk about the bones, because nobody really, goes over that, and the arteries, of course, but also what about the lymphatics? What about the nerves? I go really deep dive into that. And it comes from an area of just not having it. So I'm really spelling it out for all my injectors out there who can't come over to me. I think that's such a need, and I love the community online. So definitely check it out if you're interested. Love to have you.
How do we get there? What's the website?
So you type in Anisa Medower, which is obviously my name, or Beauty Boost Medspa. That's a way to find it. You can also go through the link tree on my Instagram profile, and that will be linked to it. But my turnaround time for that too, when answering questions for my followers, is within minutes. So if you're in the middle of a procedure and you need to step out and just ask me hey, am I doing this right? I'm there with you, girlie. I have my iWatch. I even step out and I'm happy to assist, because I know what it's like to be so lost and alone.
That's so helpful. That's amazing that you're doing that. Giving back, that's huge. And
yeah, it feels good.
You're a PhD.
So my doctorate, right? So doctorate is also a doctoral degree that you get with NP. It's not PhD, right? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't heavily research oriented, but I had to do a project where it was published in a journal. But How much
schooling?
How long was it?
Yeah, how much schooling?
So total was 9 years. So I did 5 years undergrad because I had a minor, and then I took a year in between to work in the ICU and do some other courses, and then 3 years for my BSN to DNP. So 9 years total. Yeah,
okay,
that's all.
Let me, yeah, that's all just a big chunk of my life. Let me unpack that for you for a second. Okay, we got 9 years of schooling. We have 7 years of being a business owner and a practice owner. And if I'm hearing you correctly, you have now created this beautiful portal, if you will, this Beauty Boost portal, is what I'll call it, I guess, for other providers to learn what to do and what not to do.
Right.
And it's documented from, 9 plus 7, 16 years of your background packaged up into one area. This is amazing. Like if I was a provider getting into the industry, wanting to expand or whatever I want to do and want to learn from expertise, what a great resource.
Thank you. And you know what was helpful is having a background in plastic surgery. As soon as I came out of school, that's where a lot of the anatomy was inspired, and just knowing who is a surgical candidate and who isn't. So it's not just med spa. I know how to speak the lingo of surgeons when they are saying no to Sculptra or no to PDO threads. Well, I'll break it down of it's why it's okay. And that's because of the background I have. So thanks for acknowledging that. I love sharing what I've learned throughout the years.
Well, I think it's important. I think, like one of the coolest things I think about social media is not just necessarily to get like a follower base and say, hey, look at me, but it's a way to connect people on how to get very, very quick connectivity to expertise.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It's so cool. I mean, I did not have this 10 years ago when I started, and I was thirsty. I wanted to learn, and just the resources were not there. And you guys are so lucky that there are resources if you guys are starting out or wanting to advance your skills, because there's just so much out there. And I know it sounds confusing and overwhelming a lot at times, but take advantage of at least one thing, and then you'll start to learn the industry more and what's good and what's not worth the investment.
Yeah, I mean, if I could invest in an area where I can get access to expertise and not have to, I can just learn everything in maybe, like a few months or a few years, where I'm sure you're always, updating it and enhancing it. But like, my gosh, that's just gold. And it's a way for people to accelerate and really get them in a position to, to have a successful practice and thrive. So you mentioned another comment though, which I know practice owners are not doing enough of. And it's the surveying your base. Like, when did this come out? How often do you do it? What are some of the cool things that you've learned from your base and implemented at your practice?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because we're just getting back into it, because I there was a few years I didn't. But when we had the smaller office and we weren't investing a lot in tech because we just didn't have the means at the moment, I literally left a little mailbox and I hung it on the door, and I taped leave your suggestions here so we could boost your care. And every day I'd go in and I'd look in my mailboxes. It was just, you drop it in anonymously. I didn't have any feedback, and I was like, what the heck? People are just waiting here. I know they see it. So I knew I had to change it up, right? So now we're doing it through Boulevard has a prompted question, which I'm sure you're aware of. If how was your service, and it rates it between 1 to 5 stars. And if someone leaves 5 stars, it triggers you to leave a Yelp or a Google review. If it's 1 star, then it doesn't trigger you to there. It says, okay, well, what was it? And that was super helpful, of like what turned someone off. And I learned so much from it, because I would never know. I'm the provider. I think everything's great on my end, but there's things that could just turn them off a little bit, and then I lost like a VIP patient or a new patient or someone that has been coming to me for years, but it was just that one thing that I could reach out to them and say, oh my God, I'm so sorry you had that experience. Like, come back in, let me treat you to something, and let's turn it around. So that's been helpful. We are going to be implementing a different type of survey that's more detailed with questions through SurveyMonkey. And my consultant's helping me get that together. So that is in the works. But really, ask for that feedback, because the worst thing that happens is getting a 1-star review on these platforms. And I've lost sleep over them. And I've begged patients to be like, no, come back, let me fix it. And it's just too late. And they didn't have an area where they could freely respond. And that's why they decided to go to that, that degree. So yeah, it's helpful.
Yeah, and I mean, they're caught up in the moment. There's emotion plays a game, and then they do that. I think, like, look, you're in business long enough, you're going to get a 1-star review. It's just
for sure, absolutely.
And and I think, like, to your point, yes, you've lost sleep over it. I'm sure anybody that's been in aesthetics long enough and has gotten a 1-star review. It's like, shoot, I don't want anybody to see that, and that there's always two sides to it.
Right.
Which I find pretty interesting. But take it as a learning, a way to learn, and call the patient.
Yeah.
And be like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like, let's sort this out. How can we make your experience better?
Definitely. And training your staff to, really pick up on the cues. Like, I had one patient over the summer, didn't have a great experience. I think she thought it was relating to pricing, but she didn't realize, goes hand in hand with how much you need anatomically. So she said, well, I'm just going to go to Laserway and just get it there because it's cheaper, right? And I know Laserway is very on label, and they wouldn't do an area for her that she was hoping to get. So, my husband, who's our operations manager, who's sitting right next to me as we're...
What's up, Annie?
Say hi, Annie.
Hello.
What's up, dude? How are you, man?
Good. How are you, Cameron?
Good to see you.
He's in real estate, but he's also our operations manager. He was able to reach out to the patient, and when it comes from a male voice, they're able to open up a little bit more and just explain. And it's just a different dynamic and feel. And she was, willing to come back and try us again. And we gave her a discount for the services. And now she's like forever in love and so happy. And she's like, this is how you retain a patient. She's like, you did it the right way. I was totally, gone at that point, but it was something that allowed us to grow and learn from that experience as well.
It's amazing. I mean, you basically, what you just described is you turn a potential negative and angry patient or angry fan, if you will, I guess, depending on, whatever, but into a raving fan.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
That easy, right? And now she's probably more of a fan now than she was before, even if she didn't have the bad experience or whatever the deal was with the pricing. It almost it almost made the relationship stronger.
It
actually.
does. Yeah. It's almost like, wait, you wanted me that bad, that she felt equally wanted. So it's nice to do that for people, because there's so many people that I think about. I'm like, gosh, what happened to them? They'll pass through my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen her in so long. What happened? And by that time, it's so weird to reach out, right? If it's been years.
Yeah.
So it's good to just have your check-ins, and your PCCs can maybe help with that.
Yeah, I think your SurveyMonkey idea is going to be huge. Also with, like, if you're going to bring in a new service or treatment, survey your base, your patient base before you go spend a couple $100,000 on a new laser, whatever, or like build stuff out. Like, I think it's a good opportunity to connect with your patient base through these surveys. And, I'd encourage you to make them like a little short, not super long, because people are busy.
Right.
But just get the meat from that.
Right. And we even survey our followers on Instagram. Like, say they're not around to get treatment, they're in another state, sometimes other countries. We just say, hey, what do you think about this? Should we bring on, for example, we were demoing Diamond Glow last week, and it looked really cool, like a hydrofacial with resurfacing. But, a lot of people know these procedures when they go to estheticians, right? You either get hydrofacial or Diamond Glow, typically. And we got such great feedback. It was literally a yes or no response on the stories, but people felt the need to directly message me and really tell me how they felt about that. So I'm like, okay, now I know where to go from here. So feel free to be on social.
Yeah, social media questions, great way to do that. I love that. So, okay, you have the Patreon page. You guys are obviously growing. Now, is there different levels of access? Because I know you talk about the business, the clinical of it. I'm just curious. I've seen some Patreon pages and maybe entry points, advanced, stuff like that.
Yeah. So beginners, we have videos where I teach you literally how to like mix up Botox, right? And mix up Dysport, and how to inject, what depths, and I talk about facial anatomy, like I mentioned, but just like literally the basic questions that if you were to do, get your first job in aesthetics, and you're obviously getting trained, right? But you want to come in knowing, showing that you know something because you did your homework. This is really where the beginners shine, because there is that foundation there. and you get 2 videos a week. So, that it will always be promised to you. And then with my mid-levels, that's really my intermediate injectors, or people that are beginner-ish, but they don't need to have that, base of the foundation in the beginner tier. That's where I do give 1 video a week, and it's more going up close, right? You get to see my depth, you get to see my technique. You can, I go over patient candidate selection. That's so much that goes into these videos that I really take time with the patient to go over, so you feel like you really are there with me. And we use a really nice camera, so it's the quality, the clarity, the sound is excellent. And then finally my premium tier, this is where we do really long format videos. Like, you're in there for the entire duration of the treatment, which is like 30 to 60 minute videos, and it's unedited. It is raw footage. You could see every little thing I'm doing and touching and feeling and whatnot. And then I take you behind the scenes, and I show you, this is how I do a consult and quote, right? And this is my profit margins, and this is how I'm able to price per area, not per syringe. And this is where we have that wiggle room, right? I talk about, staff management. It's so important, because as an owner, you really don't go into thinking about the management part. You just think about owning the business and running it. So that's really important. And there's just so much. What I love on my Patreon is that people submit requests all the time. Like, hey, can you do a video on this? And I'm like, yes, thank you for that. So it's not just me trying to think of like, hey, I'm on here and I think this is important. It's really coming from a need that I don't realize people really want me to kind of go into, something that I think is so simple, but is so important for them.
Yeah, it's another way of activating the providers and saying, hey, like, what do you guys want to learn, right? It's a university in a way, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And there's so many times where I wanted to go across the country and learn from these really cool, Instagram famous injectors, and just see what are they doing. I don't need the hands-on. I don't want to pay for all that money to do it. I just want to see, are they doing anything different than I'm doing? And a lot of times they are, of course, but I just need to see it on video. And maybe it stems from me being like a huge person on YouTube, where of course I like to make videos, but I love to watch makeup artists like just do their makeup in real time and just see what are they using, how are they doing it, and how did they achieve that final full look. That's what I'm trying to bring on Patreon, is like, you get that full like YouTube experience, but from a legit provider. And it is, it's very safe to share it in our community and not just being, public and promoting irresponsible injections.
We need so much more of that. I mean, so much more of that. It's like, it's kind of scary these days. Like, you can go to a weekend course and think that you're an injector and put something out on social and you're an expert. It's like, right. Be cautious. Like, so for the audience, you guys that are tuning in, like, Anisa's the real deal. She's got the schooling in the background to put stuff like that out there, which is amazing. Hey, are you going to AmSpa, or what's your conference schedule look like this year?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's conference season. So we are doing LAMCA in a couple weeks, which I'm super excited. It is in LA at the Four Seasons Beverly Hills, which is really cool, because you really feel like you're part of Hollywood at that point. You have, the best plastic surgeons in the house, and dermatologists even, and of course injectors, like celebrity injectors that are injecting your favorite celebrity, but unfortunately can't be tagged and posted, right? And we're getting to learn, like, what are they doing in Hollywood to look so dang good? That's not just always facelift oriented. So that's cool. It's really for providers, and I can't say that enough. You don't feel like, this feels like a sales type of conference where, they have a mini expo hall as you walk in, but it's really not meant for that little expo hall that they have walking through. Have you been there?
I have, yeah. It's the one Keenan puts on, right?
Yeah, Keon Creamy, yeah.
Yep, that's the guy, yep.
Yeah, so that's great. I encourage you guys to do it. And then I'm going to AmSpa, which is the med spa show in Vegas, and it's hosted every year in April. Love that one. I think that was the first conference I ever went to, and I was just like, oh my God, this is the first time I went, it was over my head. I was just like, I will never be able to get to this level. Like, all of it was a whole nother language, but I kept going because I'm like, I think it's going to click. There's some things that are clicking, and then every year it clicks more and more. And even if I think it's redundant at this point, because I'm far into my career, I'm 10 years in, and I've gone to it year after year, you still come back learning more and more. And the expo halls is where I thrive now. I used to hate that. I'm like, who cares? Like, I just I rather learn from someone else who they like something and go through it in a more authentic approach than being sold. But now I'm the one attacking these expo hosts. So they're like, I'm like, okay, tell me your research. Like, let me know give me a demo. And they're like, oh my God. But that's your time to really connect and not create this like separate meeting with them where you do feel like it's kind of pushy. It's like really, that's your time to cram it all in. So that's the best.
I agree. I think it's a way to connect with your vendors. It's a way to connect with your colleagues. It's always changing. Sure. Yeah. It's like, the conference has been around for, I think, 7 or 8 years, something like that. This conference in particular. But I'm with you. I learn and meet and get to hang out with the industry, which is great.
Yeah. I really wanted to check out the one that you referred me to with Terry Ross.
Yep. That's in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, she's in LA at the 4S Summit. So I don't think I can this year, but I think that's going to be great for practice owners to bring their staff and really grow as a team, which is unlike any other. I guess it's not, I don't know if you would call it a conference, but it's definitely a learning hall of an experience. And
it is. I went to her conference last year. It was in November. It was in Fort Lauderdale. She does 3 a year. I think she's got this year, it's LA, it's Chicago, and Florida. And I mean, my gosh, it's like business boot camp for aesthetics wrapped up in a weekend.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, it's one of the best conferences that I've ever been to. It's really, really, and she is so good.
Yeah, she really
Terry is great. Great speaker, knows how to control the room, knows her stuff back and forward. Like, she is, I call her the GOAT.
Yeah.
She's amazing. So yeah, I mean, if you can't hit the one in April, definitely check out I'll be at the one I'm going to all 3.
Okay, so if you're going to LA, you have to come up to Newport. You just got to make that.
I know. I guess I'm going to California.
Yeah. Gotcha. But maybe I'll see you there. I think that's a good one. And then I've been hearing great things about Cult Aesthetics. Cult Aesthetics, I think I want to say it's in Scottsdale this year. I've been wanting to check it out, and we'll see if I can make it out I want to say it's in June. And then finally,
which one is that one?
Cult, it's CULT Aesthetics.
I haven't heard of that.
That would be a fun one. Yeah, it's very exclusive, and you have to like submit to get accepted to go. And I know that to me is, I'd want everyone to be a part of it. But I don't know. I feel like it keeps getting brought up in our injector part. I'm an Allergan trainer, so a lot of us trainers are talking about what to go to this year, and that's one that keeps getting brought up. And then lastly, there's one called Masters. I'm maybe forgetting the name, but it is with Dr. Dylan. He is from the UK, and he has a big show with another big provider. Why am I blanking on all these names? It's Monday.
Is that in Miami?
No, this one is going to be in Texas in the fall.
Oh, okay.
October, but I'm definitely going to that. I'm blanking on the name, but it's going to be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking up this Cult Aesthetics. What's crazy is like I've almost had to, a few years ago, you knew which ones to go to, and now there's a lot of options. I almost have to like do my diligence on them all. I'm like, okay, like, is this one really going to be worth the time? Because you're leaving your practice, and your family or whatever. There's an expense to it. I mean, an investment expense, whatever, but it's time and money. That's for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. There's been one where I'm like, okay, I don't think I went 2 years in a row, and I'm like, I'm good on not going back, and you learn the ropes that way too.
Yeah. I like that Terry's doing such a good job on bringing the business side of it, and the industry needs it so bad. It's great. So I know you have an appointment coming up in 5 minutes. I'm going to let you get ready for that.
Thank you.
And I love having you on. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thanks, Kim, for having me. This is so fun. It's such an easy combo. I mean, we could talk about this till midnight, let's be honest.
I know.
But hopefully we get to catch up again at a future time. This has been exciting. And for those of you guys that want to connect more with me, I'm such an open book. I love what we do. I think it's so incredible in the community that we're in, and really breeding that, sisterhood and, and brotherhood if you're, it's nice. And I think we got to build each other up as a community. So find me on Instagram, Beauty Boost Medspa, YouTube, TikTok, Patreon. I'm there holding your hand on that platform, but would love to meet you guys. And if you want to come in for hands-on in your California license, I welcome you to my boot camp.
Amazing. Guys, go check her out. She's on Instagram, Beauty Boost Medspa. Anisa, thank you so much for joining. And I'll leave it at that, guys. So if you found this particular episode valuable, my biggest ask is just to share it. Share it with the community, rate it. And I'll leave it at that. Until next time, happy injecting.
Bye.